Today we're going to be going over the differences between the Mini MIte 5 and the Q5, as well as the difference between the Mini MIte and Q series of the Fuji turbine sprayers. So you'll learn the differences as far as performance, if there is any, the feature set differences, as well as performance differences and some pricing differences. All right, so spec-wise, they're the same on PSI output. Biggest difference is cooling, adjustable pressure, and quiet, a little bit quieter. Both have the same guns available. Both guns, when you buy either unit, the gun comes with a single tip available. Some of the other options on the market do have tip sets included where you get 2 or 3 tips. Pricing difference is pretty great between the two. So this runs about $15.39 versus about $11.39 for the Mini Mites. The price difference is what you're paying for is the adjustable turbine pressure output, heat dampening, and the quieting aspects of the Q5. This adjustment can help you save material waste with thinner products. Say you're doing a really light, heavy grade cabinet enamel for your base coat, and then you want to spray a conversion varnish that doesn't require quite as much pressure to atomize. That adjustment helps out with that. So first is the Q5 and the hose set it comes with. You get a whip hose, you get the mainline hose, and you get a full cleaning kit as well for your spray gun. That is what's included in the Q5. The unit itself, some of the differences here from a feature standpoint, you have your adjustable pressure setting there. So if you're spraying a stain or something thin, you can do that with a little bit of ease compared to the Mini MIte. Doesn't have the adjustable pressure output. So if you're say you're spraying a light stain that's not so thick, use lower pressure to reduce overspray. You could also use the high pressure for your cabinet grade enamel. The Mini MIte won't have that. The box itself is a bit bigger as well compared to the Mini MIte. That is partially due to sound dampening that's built into the box. You can see your air inlet here, your air inlet filter there, as well as here. And we'll show you some sound output differences between them. So the Mini MIte 5 will also come with the whip hose, standard length of hose, cleaning kit, and the turbine itself. That's where you'll see some of the big differences. One thing, you won't have the variable pressure adjustment like you do on the Q5, though the pressure output is still 9.5 psi. So the performance of these from an atomization standpoint will be the same. The Q5 has a silenter turbine. You can see that causes the turbine's footprint to be a little bit bigger to allow for the heat and silencing. So there's also a heat dampening built into the box to allow more airflow. And you'll see that by looking at the intake on the side here relative to the Mini MIte, where your air intake's a lot smaller. So there's a little bit less turbine fan cooling occurring. So Q5, silenter, heat dampening, and adjustable pressure. Mini MIte 5, same pressure, so similar finish quality, but no heat dampening. So heat can create pockets or bubbles in your finish, and a bit louder. And we'll do a decibel test here to show you the difference between the two as they are turned on. The Q5 claims about 60 decibels, 20 feet away from the unit, and then we'll compare both on a sound meter here. We're about 37 without me talking. So this will be the sound meter with the Mini MIte. We're about 5 to 6 feet away, and you can see the sound levels at about 80 decibels. It's not terrible, it's about a vacuum cleaner. So the Q5 on highest pressure. Same distance away. About 12 decibels less. So, and that's at about 6 feet from the unit. So as you back up further, we'll get towards the end of the hose length here. You drop down to about 60. So you can see the Q5 is a lot of a quieter unit compared to a normal turbine. All right, so we're going to show you the Q5 in action. This has a 1-3 tip. The T70, one of the advantages, it has a semi-pressurized siphon cup, so air is cheated off of the back of the gun to help push material out the cup. So it's not a true pressure cup in that you can't invert and spray very well, but it does give you quite a bit of material. And we'll show you the Q5 at full output. This is with Sherwin-Williams Emerald and a 1-3 tip. So you can see the output is pretty good. Now if I cut down the pressure, I'm going to get a lot less atomization and orange peel. But if you're shooting a stain or something thin, that variable pressure control on the turbine is a very helpful thing. We'll also show it on the wood over here. The Q5 offers a lot of output and performance at a fairly decent price point, and you can see it gets good atomization as well as being quieter than the Mini Mites and less heat buildup. From that little bit of spraying, I still have cool air coming out of the tip of my gun. And we'll show you the Mini Mite just to compare the differences, if there are any, in atomization. Now I can feel the heat coming from the turbine. You'll notice the sound is a lot louder, as we showed you on the meter. But pattern and output are virtually the same. So you're paying for a quieter unit and the variable pressure. And that's the main difference between those two. All right, so the Mini MIte 5 versus the Q5. As you've seen, the Q5 is a bit quieter, has a bit more air intake to give you less heat buildup over longer run times, and the variable adjustment on the pressure on the control knob. The actual atomization potential of both are mostly equal. The price point is a couple $100 difference, so that is one of the big things to weigh and consider. But if you think you want those extra features, a little quieter, little bit better performance, then the Q5 could be the option for you. If you want performance, but the budget is more free on that $1,000 mark, then the Mini MIte 5 is going to be a great option. And in general, those differences will apply across the Q series and the Mini MIte. Q series is quieter, a bit more heat dissipation. Mini Mites on the same turbine stages, 3 or 4 or 5 Mini MIte, will provide similar performance as atomization goes, be a bit louder, and not have quite the heat dissipation that the Q series has. So that's the difference between the Q and the Mini MIte Fuji turbines.